Welcome back to another true crime documentary. We're diving into one of the most chilling and mysterious cases in American history. Imagine a killer who didn't just commit crimes. He wrote letters to newspapers. He challenged the police. He sent encrypted ciphers that confused investigators for decades. And then, he vanished without ever being officially identified. More than 50 years have passed, yet this case remains unsolved. Countless detectives, forensic experts, and codebreakers have searched for the truth. But the biggest question still has no answer. Who was the Zodiac Killer? In this documentary, we'll explore the real events, the shocking attacks, the mysterious letters, the famous ciphers, and the investigation that became one of the largest manhunts in American history. Everything you're about to see is based on documented historical events and publicly available information. While many theories exist, no one has ever been officially identified or convicted as the Zodiac Killer. So, turn down the lights, put on your headphones, and let's step back to Northern California in the late 1960s, where one unknown man would spread fear across an entire nation. Let's begin. What if I told you that somewhere in America, a serial killer may have watched the evening news, read every newspaper headline, and smile, knowing the police had no idea who he was? He didn't hide from the public. EW newspapers, ciphers. He demanded that his messages be published, or he claimed he would kill again. For decades, detectives, cryptographers, journalists, and ordinary people have all searched for the same answer. What was this oile? This is not a work of fiction. The murders were real. The victims were real. The fear was real. In the late 1960s, Northern California was a peaceful place for many families. Teenagers went on dates. People enjoyed quiet evenings. No one imagined that an unknown killer was about to terrorize the region. Then, on the night of December 20th, 1968, near Lake Herman Road, a young couple parked their car in a quiet area. They expected nothing more than a peaceful evening together. Instead, someone approached their vehicle in the darkness. Within moments, gunshots shattered the silence. When police arrived, the couple had been shot. The attacker had disappeared without leaving behind a clear identity. At first, investigators believed it might be an isolated crime, but they had no idea. This was only the beginning. Just months later, another young couple would become targets. Another attack, another escape, another mystery. And soon, letters would begin arriving at newspaper offices. Letters signed with a strange symbol, a circle, crossed by a simple crosshair. Beneatit, to chilling words. Zodiac. Those letters would shock America. They contained details that only the killer could have known. They also included coded messages, challenging anyone to discover his identity. Some believed the ciphers hid his real name. Others believed they were only meant to spread fear. More than half a century later, many questions remain unanswered. Who was the Zodiac Killer? How many victims did he truly claim? And why was he never caught? This is the story of one of the most infamous unsolved serial killer cases in American history. The murders on Lake Herman Road shocked the local community. Bativers found very fugluis. There were no eyewitnesses who could identify the killer. No clear motive. No obvious suspect. The case quickly grew cold. For months, there was only silence. Then, on the night of July 4th, 1969, another young couple parked their car at Blue Rock Springs Park, outside California. They were enjoying a cute summer night. Suddenly, Akarpuye din 20. The driver stepped out. For a moment, the couple believed he might be a police officer. Instead, the stranger walked toward their car carrying a flashlight. Without warning, he opened fire. The attack lasted only seconds. Then the gunman turned and walked back to his car, disappearing into the darkness. Miraculously, one of the victims survived. His testimony gave detectives their first real description of the attacker. But it wasn't enough to identify him. Less than an hour later, the Vallejo Police Department received a phone call. The caller spoke calmly. He claimed responsibility for the shooting. Then, he made a chilling confession. He also claimed responsibility for the murders on Lake Herman Road. Before hanging up, he quietly said, "Goodbye." Detectives immediately realized something terrifying. The two attacks were connected. They were Just a few weeks later, 3 major newspapers in Northern California received nearly identical letters. The writer admitted responsibility for both attacks. To prove he was telling the truth, he included details that had never been released to the public. Each envelope also contained 1/3 of a mysterious coded message. The writer demanded that all 3 parts be printed on the front page. If they refused, he threatened to kill again. At the bottom of each letter was a strange symbol, a circle with a crosshair through its center. For the first time, the unknown murderer gave himself a name: Zodiac. Within days, the story spread across America. Newspapers, radio stations, television broadcasts. Everyone wanted to know one thing. Who was the Zodiac Killer? Police launched one of the largest investigations in California history. Hundreds of leads poured in. Thousands of suspects were considered, but the killer always seemed to stay one step ahead. And before long, he would strike again. This time, broad daylight. By the summer of 1969, fear had begun to spread across Northern California. The newspapers had given the killer a name, the Zodiac, but no one knew who he was or where he would strike next. Then, on September 27, 1969, a young couple drove to the peaceful shores of Lake Berryessa. It was a warm Saturday afternoon. The lake was calm. Families relaxed nearby. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. As the couple sat together, they noticed a man walking toward them. At first, he looked like an ordinary visitor. But as he came closer, everything changed. The man was wearing a black, hood-like costume that covered his face. On the front was a strange white symbol, a circle crossed by intersecting lines, the same symbol that had appeared in the Zodiac's letters. Speaking in a calm voice, the man claimed he was an escaped convict. He said he only wanted money and a car. Then he ordered the couple to tie each other up. Once they were restrained, his story changed. The attack turned violent. Afterward, the attacker walked back toward his vehicle. He disappeared without panic, as if everything had gone exactly as planned. But before leaving the area, he did something investigators would never forget. On the victim's car door, he wrote a message. It included the dates of earlier attacks and the symbol of the Zodiac. For detectives, it was a direct confession. The killer wanted police to know he had been there, and he wanted the entire country to know it too. The investigation intensified. Roadblocks were set up. Witnesses were interviewed. Evidence was collected. Yet the Zodiac slipped away once again. The public was terrified. Parents warned their children. Young couples avoided isolated places. Every new Zodiac letter made headlines across America. Then, Less than 2 weeks later, the killer became even bolder. He would strike in a busy city, in front of potential witnesses, and once again, he would disappear without a trace. Years passed. The murders stopped, but the mystery never did. Investigators continued searching for the man who called himself the Zodiac. Thousands of tips poured in. Hundreds of suspects were investigated. Fingerprints were compared. Handwriting was analyzed. DNA evidence was examined whenever possible. Yet, no one could be conclusively identified as the Zodiac Killer. Over the years, one name appeared again and again: Arthur Lee Lau. He became one of the best-known suspects in the investigation. Some witness statements and circumstances led detectives to examine him closely. His home was searched. He was questioned multiple times. But despite years of investigation, authorities never found enough evidence to charge him with the Zodiac crimes. Other suspects were also investigated. Some seemed convincing. Others were ruled out by evidence. Every new theory generated headlines. Every new documentary sparked fresh debate, but none provided a definitive answer. Then, decades after the murders, one of the Zodiac's famous encrypted messages was finally solved by a team of civilian codebreakers. The message revealed disturbing statements, but it did not reveal the killer's identity. Even after all these years, the biggest question remains unanswered. Who was the Zodiac Killer? Was he someone living an ordinary life? Did he die without ever confessing? Or is his true identity hidden somewhere in evidence that has yet to be understood? Today, the Zodiac case remains one of the most famous unsolved criminal investigations in American history. Law enforcement agencies have continued to review evidence over the years, and advances in forensic science have kept hope alive that new information could emerge. But as of today, no one has been officially identified or convicted as the Zodiac Kill. More than half a century has passed. The letters remain. The ciphers remain. The questions remain. And some may wait. The truth may still be waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more true crime mysteries, and tell us in the comments, who do you think the Zodiac Killer really was? Until next time, stay curious.